And how do we do that? Mike asked. That's what I will teach you. I'll teach you to have a choice of thoughts rather than a knee-jerk reaction, like gulping down your morning coffee and running out the door. Remember what I said before. A job is only a short-term solution to a long-term problem. Most people have only one problem in mind, and it's short-term. It's the bills at the end of the month, the tar baby. Money controls their lives, or should I say, the fear and ignorance about money controls it. So they do as their parents did. They get up every day and go to work for money, not taking the time to ask the questions. Is there another way? Their emotions now control their thinking, not their heads. Hello, everybody, and I am going to do another reading just now. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which is always, so there we go. There's a little bit I can show there. It's difficult to show on the Zoom, so the people on BIGO can't see this, but on Zoom, I have a background, and it is difficult to see what it is that I am holding up. Anyhow, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I'm going to do a little bit more reading because I realize that I might be away for a few days, so I will need to have a backup of videos. As I put these on YouTube, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that in just a moment. Anyhow, we are still in a conversation between Robert Kiyosaki, the author of the book, and his rich dad. And they're talking about fear and how you need to separate yourself from society's norms, and how if you can separate yourself from needing to go to work and all of those different kinds of things, and being extremely wealthy and just wanting the good things in life, that you can start creating your own destiny. So let's get into some reading, and we'll have a chat about it as we go. And how do we do that? Mike asked. That's what I will teach you. I'll teach you to have a choice of thoughts rather than a knee-jerk reaction, like gulping down your morning coffee and running out the door. Remember what I said before. A job is only a short-term solution to a long-term problem. Most people have only one problem in mind, and it's short-term. It's the bills at the end of the month, the tar baby. Money controls their lives, or should I say, the fear and ignorance about money controls it. So they do as their parents did. They get up every day and go to work for money, not taking the time to ask the questions. Is there another way? Their emotions now control their thinking, not their heads. Can you tell the difference between emotional thinking and head thinking, Mike asked? Oh, yes. I hear it all the time, said Rich Dad. I hear things like, well, everyone has to work, or the rich are crooks, or I'll get another job. I deserve this raise. You can't push me around. Or I like this job because it's secure. No one asks, is there something I'm missing here, which would break through the emotional thought and give you time to think clearly. And this is where you'll notice the very big difference between the way wealthy people do things, the way they think, and they're just extremely lucky as well that they've often been shown the path by somebody else. But your chance also lies in the fact that we are reading this book right now. As we headed back to the store, Rich Dad explained that the rich really did make money. They did not work for it. He went on to explain that when Mike and I were casting 5-cent pieces out of lead, thinking we were making money, we were very close to thinking the way the rich think. The problem was that creating money is legal for the government and banks to do, but illegal for us to do. There are legal ways to create money from nothing, he told us. Rich Dad went on to explain that the rich know that money is an illusion, truly like the carrot for the donkey. It's only out of fear and greed that the illusion of money is held together by billions of people who believe that money is real. It's not. Money is really made up. It's only because of the illusion of confidence and the ignorance of the masses that this house of cards still stands. It's because we all agree that we want to play the same game. And there are not enough people that want to step out of the game in order for us to be able to replace the game with something different. He talked about the gold standard that America was on, and that each dollar bill was actually a silver certificate. What concerned him was the rumor that we would someday go off the gold standard and our dollars would no longer be backed by something tangible. That happens, boys. All hell will break loose. The poor, the middle class, and the ignorant will have their lives ruined simply because they will continue to believe that money is real and that the company they work for, or the government, will look after them. We really did not understand what he was saying that day, but over the years it made more and more sense. And of course, America did go off the gold standard in the early 70s, thanks to the wonderful, tricky Dicky Richard Nixon. Just fix up the screen a little bit. Seeing what others miss. As he climbed into his pickup truck outside his convenience store, Rich Dad said, "Keep working, boys, but the sooner you forget about needing a paycheck, the easier your adult life will be. Keep using your brain, work for free, and soon your mind will show you ways of making money far beyond what I could ever pay you. You will see things that other people never see. Most people never see these opportunities because they're looking for money and security. So that's all they get. The moment you see one opportunity, you'll see them for the rest of your life. The moment you do that, I'll teach you something else. Learn this, and you'll avoid one of life's biggest traps." Mike and I picked up our things from the store and waved goodbye to Mrs. Martin. We went back to the park, to the same picnic bench, and spent several more hours thinking and talking. We spent the next week at school thinking and talking too. For 2 more weeks, we kept thinking, talking, and working for free. At the end of the second Saturday, I was again saying goodbye to Mrs. Martin and looking at the comic book stand with a longing gaze. The hard thing about not even getting 30 cents every Saturday was that I didn't have any money to buy comic books. Suddenly, as Mrs. Martin said goodbye to Mike and me, I saw her do something I'd never seen her do before. And this is where being able to separate yourself from the system and being able to not work and all of those different kinds of things and working for free gives you the opportunity to see things from a different angle. Mrs. Martin was cutting the front page of the comic book in half. She kept the top half of the comic book cover and threw the rest of the book into a large cardboard box. When I asked her what she did with the comic books, she said, "I throw them away. I give the top half of the cover back to the comic book distributor for credit when he brings in the new comics. He's coming in an hour." Mike and I waited for an hour. Soon the distributor arrived, and I asked him if we could have the comic books. To my delight, he said, "You can have them if you work for this store and do not resell them." Remember our old business partnership? Well, Mike and I revived it. Using a spare room in Mike's basement, we began piling hundreds of comic books in that room. Soon our comic book library was open to the public. We hired Mike's younger sister, who loved to study, to be head librarian. She charged each child 10 cents admission to the library, which was open from 2:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. Every day after school, the customers, the children of the neighborhood, could read as many comics as they wanted in 2 hours. It was a bargain for them since a comic cost 10 cents each, and they could read 5 or 6 in 2 hours. Mike's sister would check the kids as they left to make sure that they weren't borrowing any comic books. She also kept the books, logging in how many kids showed up each day, who they were, and any comments they might have. Mike and I averaged $9.50 per week over a 3-month period. We paid his sister $1 a week and allowed her to read the comics for free, which she rarely did. She was always studying. Mike and I kept our agreement by working in the store every Saturday and collecting all the comic books from the different stores. We kept our agreement to the distributor by not selling any comic books. We burned them once they got too tattered. We tried opening a branch office, but we could never quite find someone as trustworthy and dedicated as Mike's sister. At an early age, we found out how hard it was to find good staff. Very, very true. 3 months after the library first opened, a fight broke out in the room. Some bullies from another neighborhood pushed their way in, and Mike's dad suggested we shut down the business. So our comic book business shut down, and we stopped working on Saturdays at the convenience store. But Rich Dad was excited because he knew new things he wanted to teach us. He was happy because we had learned our first lesson so well. We learned to make money work for us. By not getting paid for our work at the store, we were forced to use our imaginations to identify an opportunity to make money. By starting our own business, comic book library, we were in control of our own finances, not dependent on an employer. The best part was that our business generated money for us, even when we weren't physically there. Our money worked for us. Instead of paying us money, Rich Dad has given us so much more. And that is the end of chapter 1, which is very exciting because that chapter took forever. I don't know how many videos we made doing just chapter 1, but that was quite a few. And so we are on to chapter 2 next, which is very exciting, and I'm looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to knowing what your thoughts are on chapter 1. I think it's an extremely important chapter because it shows that if you can disconnect from the need to follow the system, then you can look to do things that are beyond the system. I have a friend who runs personal development seminars, and he always talks about the fact that if you understand the rules, then you can you can do things that you want to because you understand how the rules work. If you are the one making the rules, it's even easier because you can make the rules and make them so that they benefit you. But if you understand the rules, the more you understand about taxation, the more you understand about how business works, the more you understand about how the stock market works, the more you understand about asset protection and all of those different kinds of things, the more you understand about it, the more you know how the rules work. And you don't have to know it personally. You can use somebody else to implement it for you, an expert in taxation, an expert in asset management, an expert in the stock market. You can use other people and give them a percentage in order to be able to get the result that you want. So a very, very important chapter. Now, if you've missed anything from this chapter, feel free to go to the Passive Cash Flow Club on YouTube, and you'll be able to find other videos that we've done. I'm also working on some new and exciting videos for 2022, so make sure you hit subscribe so that you can not only find the recordings of these sessions, of these reading sessions with me, but you can also know when other new videos with great content for you and great value for you are going to be uploaded, which is really exciting. Also, if you want to know what I'm up to and if you are interested in reaching out and letting me know your comments through Instagram on a more private level, then you can go to Instagram and you'll find me there at business_team_6_official. And I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to see your comments on the posts that I put out. And again, we've got some exciting things awaiting for 2022, and hopefully you do as well. And I'd also love to see you for a game of cash flow. So this is Robert Kiyosaki's board game. And yes, there is also the board game where you can learn to play Robert Kiyosaki's 101. But we've also created an online version, which is really exciting because it takes the board game and adds some extra elements to it that make it extremely valuable to you to be able to learn how to implement some of the things that we've been talking about in this book. It has some more realistic taxation. It has some more realistic scenarios, and it does a couple of things differently to the real game that are more based on reality, such as if you lose your job, that you're still able to keep your passive income. But to understand that further, you need to come to play with us and you'll understand what all of that means. And if you're already an investor, we are very keen to work and create some opportunities for you to be able to invest even better than you may be right now. But the whole idea is that I really want to see people be able to take what they learn from these kinds of books, implement it in real life. And if you already are, taking it to a next level. Because unless you are already an Elon Musk, there is always something that you can still improve and get better on. So if you are earning $1 million a year, then there is still room for you to be able to grow into a person who can earn even more. So it's been absolutely amazing having you. I really appreciate you joining. So feel free to go to YouTube and Instagram and connect. I'm really keen to hear what your experiences are, what you've learned from Rich Dad Poor Dad, or what your thoughts are, whether you agree or disagree with some of my comments, or whether you agree or disagree with Robert Kiyosaki himself. So appreciate you joining. I am looking forward to seeing you again for the next video soon, and we'll start chapter 2. And have a great day, and make sure that you plan and get everything ready for an amazing 2022 for yourself. And I would definitely say use the lesson from chapter 1 to distance yourself from the standard way of doing life so that you can create whatever you want for yourself.